We're way over time, and I know others will probably want to comment, and I know there's still a few questions, and you should take advantage of the website, which allows you to ask those questions, or even to fill out a question form and put it in the box, or tackle these people before they manage to get out of here. And I know everyone would like to stay all weekend, but I think it's probably time to wrap up. And maybe just before some closing comments, if I could just read some important announcements that I've been given. Posters, which you enjoyed yesterday at the reception and here, have to be removed by 5 p.m., well, close to. All documents, brochures of any sort that you had out on the tables have to go by 5 p.m. The boxes for question and answer and evaluation sheets, please take them out with you, the evaluation sheets and boxes, or other questions. They're out in the on the table just to the right of these doors as you leave. People who... Yeah, and that's the announcements. And maybe I could just say what a pleasure it is to be a part of this as an external, and I'm sure that's intensified for those of you who have residency and lifelong and traditional relationships with this amazing region of the world. I've spent a lot of time there, but only as a visitor, and every time I'm in any part of it, I come away affected by that experience, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I think I can say on behalf of everybody that there has been a real enlivened understanding of what PNCIMA can be and intends to be, and about the purposes that were sort of listed in writing in your brochure. They've come to life in the last couple of days. I've heard a tremendous amount of support, not a ton of skepticism, but certainly some measured and concerned support in spots, and then some just plain enthusiasm about the possibilities for an integrated approach to looking at this area, both in terms of planning and in terms of eventually implementing whatever the results of that planning is. The problems of how you get represented, how you're inclusive with communities and with particular interest groups and with particular industries and with particular environmental interests is still before you, and it's going to be fascinating to see that form up in the next probably short while, within the next remainder of this year and beyond. So I want to congratulate everybody for having hung in here as long as you have to kick off what is really the beginning of a great initiative. I've also been asked to try to go through some credits, and some people have already thanked a number of people. Before that happens, I want to turn the microphone over briefly to Art, who wants to recognize a few people specifically.
Yeah, thank you, and I also want to thank everybody for staying so long. I'm still excited about the opportunity that we all have here. I also wanted to acknowledge some people in particular that I think have really put their best foot forward in making this work. And Paul Sprout was with us here yesterday. Paul Sprout is an individual with a lot of integrity and a lot of passion for this process. And I think without Paul and his staff, in all likelihood, we wouldn't be where we are today with this. And standing right beside Paul, and the person who actually makes it work, Paul has a lot of other responsibilities. But this individual began this process with us some years ago, and the first time that I met her, she was the acting regional director general for Pacific Region. She went on to help us get this thing going, and then she went away and multiplied for a while. And I think she's got 3 times the legacy she had when she started this process. But Rebecca Reed, coming back in here, has just launched this thing over the top and gotten Pacific Region moving full bore onto this process. So I really want to acknowledge Rebecca for that as well. She's a doer, she's smart, and she's going to help us get this thing moving. And somebody else that has really been working from afar and has given firm commitments to us in our office, and I know has been supporting Pacific Region from afar, is Wayne Moore. Wayne's the Director General of Oceans Planning, and he in private, I guess I'm not supposed to say this, but has assured us he's going to make sure that the resources that are necessary to carry on with PNCIMA are secured in this tough environment in Ottawa. And it is a tough environment, I understand that. But he's even going to see what he can do to try and kind of lift that up if he possibly can. I wanted to say, Wayne, this problem that we have in Canada right now, this horrendous unemployment rate of 6.7%, could you get some of that over into PNCIMA? If we had 6.7% unemployment in Gitgat or Haida Gwaii or anywhere in PNCIMA, we'd be elated. So just transport some of that over. Let some of those billions that are being used to address that terrible unemployment rate that we have in Canada of 6.7, we'd love to have it. And another Moore. I've been asked on a number of occasions, why is the Moore Foundation not acknowledged up on the front here? The contributions that the Moore Foundation has made over the years to get this up and going have been unbelievable. And quite frankly, I don't think we would not have had the resources to make sure that DFO kept their feet to the fire on this thing if Moore had not been there for us. And there's a young lady in the room that's been quiet, but she's had a lot more to do with getting this thing up and going than a lot of people realize. And so, Megan, I want you to stand up for a second and be acknowledged. Megan Calcary is our project manager. Megan and the Moore Foundation went through a major process with us, and it's designed around outputs, and that's really what they're concerned about. They're not worried about accolades. They put their money into things that they think are important to the planet. And they think that this is considerably important to the planet, and that's why they are here with us as partners in this whole exercise. So that's why you don't see their name in places. That's not what they're about. What they're about is making sure that those of us in the regions can do the job that we need to do to help save this planet and make things better for all of us. So, Megan, thanks a lot, and thanks to everybody else for being here.
And a few additional thank yous, but by no means unimportant. We want to thank those presenting this conference up there, DFO, the Coast First Nations Turning Point, the North Coast Skeena First Nations Stewardship Society, which you've heard all about. Want to also recognize and thank the First Nations leaders and chiefs and councils and council members and others who were here. The Stakeholder Engagement Working Group has been thanked, and the people who did the heavy lifting have been thanked, Averil, Kate, Steve, Mel, and I just want to remember them one more time. The support people, you heard of Igrani Yu and her unbelievable work, who did all the facilities, materials, and management organization and so on, but we haven't specifically recognized 20 to 30 volunteers who did everything from the note-taking in your breakout groups. They registered people, they folded paper and stuffed envelopes and all the rest of it. And Avril and her 7 phenomenal graphic note-takers over there who don't get enough recognition. I want to thank all of them. A final recognition of the Vancouver Aquarium Society, who produced that spectacular brief video of the area that we saw, and of Enbridge and Nykun, who contributed to the reception last night, where most people managed to get dinner thinking there would only be snacks, to the speakers who have already been recognized, to the breakout group facilitators who probably survived this and have taken off by now but did a great job. The community people who aren't here and who were so important in participating in preparatory meetings in the last month or so, and for all of you who are really foundational participants in this process, both here, the 300 who were here at the beginning of yesterday, and 70 odd, they're not odd, but 70 or so people who joined by webcast in Prince Rupert and in their homes. Tremendous human effort put into kicking this thing off. So I want to congratulate all of you and thank you for attending. And we're 3 minutes late. Look at that.
And before Gord gets off, thanks to Gord and Andrew for all of their work as well. Thanks a lot, Gord.